Really, the only thing our family buys new are underwear and athletic shoes because those just get a lot more use, and so you wanna have you want your feet to be taken care of. I'm talking about gift buying strategies on this part 2 of the Harness the Power of Planning podcast, episode 79, starting now. Hey, hey, hey! It is Thursday, and I am here. It's Alegre with Beyond Your Wildest Dreams, and there might be background noise because stuff has been happening around my house, and so I'm gonna try going live. We'll see how this goes. This might not work out well. So anyway, happy Thursday. As always, I am here to talk about how you, as a working mom, working parent, caregiver, can prioritize yourself and your goals by harnessing the power of planning. And today I have two holiday themed topics. You might be wondering, hey, Allegra, it's only November 7th. Why are we already talking about gift giving and holiday meal planning? And the reason why is because you got to plan in advance. There's a saying in the productivity world that for every 1 minute you spend planning, you save 10 minutes of doing. And in addition to all the time savings, there's also a huge decrease in stress and anxiety. Okay. And if you are someone who likes the holidays and likes to do a lot of things during the holidays, then there's a lot of added stress. It could be eustress. New word of the day there, eustress, EUSTRESS. Eustress is actually considered positive stress. So stress that you might enjoy. So maybe it is eustress, which is, kind of lights a fire under you and gets you excited, but it's still a mental load. And my goal is to help you enjoy the holidays for yourself, not just enjoy doing it for others, but for you to enjoy it for yourself. And the way you do that is through planning. So, the second topic I want to talk about is gift giving. And it is something that I have been thinking about a little bit because in our family, we kind of have a general rule, which is that anything that is purchased after October 1st, if it's not needed right away, that thing gets put away in a closet and will be a gift. And the reason why is that, I don't know how you were raised, but I was definitely raised in a culture of having more gifts under the tree m signaled some sort of happiness in my childhood brain, right? It was like, "Oh, I don't know what it is." Maybe it was a form of feeling loved or cared for or whatever. However, I am now 50, and there just aren't a lot of things I need. And I don't wanna buy things just to have things. I feel like I like my house the way it is. I love everything around. And if you have been following me for a while, then you might have heard that 2024 has actually been the year of what I've called the grand edit. And the grand edit has been about really optimizing my surroundings so that everything I see has a purpose and I can find everything I need. And so my whole family, when you get to 50, if you're lucky, my friends and I, we talk about the fact that, like, "Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do with these things that I don't use anymore that I used to use?" And it's like, wow, we're so blessed that we've lived long enough that we have things that served a purpose at one time and no longer serve a purpose. And we're also so grateful for the fact that we were able to afford whatever it is the thing is. As I mentioned a few podcasts ago, I've been having some challenges editing my wardrobe because I have this whole category of clothing that I used to wear a lot when I owned a store called Green and Greener. And my store, it was a eco one-stop shop. And so I wore a lot of green clothing and I still love it, but green is just not my favorite color to wear. I tend to wear a lot of, reds, burgundies, pinks, and so I have this clothing that I used to wear a lot that I just don't wear a lot, but it's beautiful and I do like green. And It's also sentimental because it's tied to this former part of my life, but it's just taking up space. And that's just a metaphor for some other things in our lives. Like, for instance, my husband had an electronic guitar set that he used to use a lot, but it hadn't been touched in, let's say, 3 years. And about, you know, a year ago, I had said, "You're not really using the electric guitar kit anymore. Couldn't we free up that space and gift it to somebody who can use it?" And he wasn't ready yet. And so I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna revisit this in like 3 months." And so I brought it up again in 3 months, and he said, "I'm still not ready yet, but I'm starting to think about the idea of letting it go." And sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you just need some time to let go of something that you used to like and used to serve you, but you need to take some time for whatever reason. You need some time to make that mental transition. And eventually he was ready to let it go, and we gifted it to a family whose young son absolutely adores it and uses it so much, and we're grateful that it's getting used. But it can take some time to get used to that. And so, coming back to gift giving, my husband and I have realized that just there aren't a lot of physical things we need. And so, if there is something physical we need, like for instance, if one of us needs a new pair of shoes or a jacket or whatever, for whatever reason, we will, whatever gets purchased, if it's not needed, we will save it, put it in a closet, and that will be a gift later on when we do our gift giving in December. Another thing that we've tried to prioritize as a family is the giving of experiences rather than things. So, in September, my daughter had mentioned that there was a band who she'd like to see in concert, and the concert was happening in another 6 weeks or something. It's since passed. And, concerts are not inexpensive experiences. And she said, "I want a concert and I also want to get a piece of merch. I want a sweatshirt," which, sweatshirts at concerts can cost 75 to $100. So they're that's a nice gift. And so we said, "Okay, we can make the concert happen. However, the concert and that sweatshirt, those are part of your Christmas gifts." And she said, "Okay, yes, I know." So we do try to give more gifts. The other thing too is that we have a tradition that we adopted about 10 years ago. I had read an article where a journalist had said that in her effort to be more mindful in their family with gift giving, they had come up with a tradition that it just sounded really nice to me. And so when I'm struggling to think about what we're doing for the holidays, this is always something that I come back to, and it gives me direction and it calms me down. And that is this philosophy of giving 4 gifts. And the 4 gifts are something you want, something you need, something to wear, something to read. Isn't that nice? Something you want, something you need, something to wear, something to read. So my daughter had actually asked for another sweatshirt. She said, I would like 2 sweatshirts as gifts this year. I want one from this concert, and I want one." She wants a Fox Racing sweatshirt because my husband wears them, and she likes his, and so she wants one. So, I have actually already started to do the gift purchasing, and the reality is that the vast majority of the time with our clothing, we buy our clothing, like 99% of it is secondhand. Either eBay. I love, love, love clothing shopping on eBay, okay? If you haven't tried it yet, you should absolutely try it, because the great thing about buying clothes on eBay is, first of all, you have this huge selection. So you can find exactly what you want. I started clothes shopping on eBay when my daughter was born because The first year she was born, we had 2 family weddings to go to, and I knew I was not a size that I was gonna be for a long time, so I didn't wanna spend a lot of money on I needed dresses for 2 weddings, and they were very different climates. One was in winter in the Pacific Northwest, and one was in summer in Hawaii. So I needed very different types of clothing, and I just knew that I wasn't gonna be that size for the rest of my life, so I didn't wanna spend any real money. But I also didn't have wedding appropriate clothes that fit me because, again, I had just given birth. So, I went on eBay and I knew for one of the weddings I needed to get something purple because I was part of the wedding party and the color was purple, and so I typed into eBay, "purple linen dress," and you can customize, like, everything, like sleeve length, you know, skirt length, are you looking what material you want? I wanted a purple linen dress and then all the sizes. And I found a fantastic dress, and I think it probably I don't remember what it cost me, but it probably cost me I feel like it was 20 to $30 or something like that. It's like, "Okay, great. I can afford to spend 20 or $30 for a dress that I might not wear that much." I actually ended up wearing that dress for quite a while because it was just a great linen dress, and I wore it for a couple years as I was still breastfeeding. And then, the other wedding dress, same thing. I just put in what I wanted. So eBay has become one of my favorite ways to clothing shop because the selection is incredible. There are also other online secondhand opportunities such as Poshmark, and another one is ThredUp. I've purchased great things on Poshmark and ThredUp as well, and the nice thing about Poshmark and ThredUp is that they're a little more edited, so you won't like on eBay, you also get a lot of people who are selling new things, and they might say that it's vintage or pre-owned, and so there's just a lot more quantity at eBay. So sometimes ThredUp and Poshmark are nice because they're a little more edited. They're a little bit nicer. Poshmark especially is a little bit nicer. So if you're looking for something nicer, that's a great way to go Christmas shopping. My husband likes the brand Untuckit, and I purchased him a couple of Untuckit shirts on Poshmark. And by the way, when I say secondhand, secondhand doesn't necessarily mean used because you probably have things in your closet that you purchased that you've never worn. They still have the tags on. And a lot of those things end up on Poshmark and eBay when people finally realize, you know what? I've never worn this thing. I'm never going to wear this thing. I'm going to let it go. And actually, I have purchased so many things that are new with tags, but they're secondhand, right? So it's amazing. The other thing I like eBay and Poshmark for is when you come across something, maybe you see someone wearing something or you see something in an old magazine and it's no longer current in stores. What's really nice is that a lot of times you can find those things on Poshmark, eBay, or ThredUp. And I have I have hunted for those of you listening to the Harness the Power Planning podcast, I'm making like tiger gestures with my hands. I have hunted many an item on eBay and Poshmark and found exactly the thing that I wanted, and it is so satisfying, and I always love those finds. So, as I said, we do a lot of our shopping secondhand for clothing. Really, the only thing our family buys new are underwear and athletic shoes because those just get a lot more use, and so you wanna have you want your feet to be taken care of, but I will buy specialty shoes secondhand. And the great thing is, if people aren't showing you the pictures that you wanna see to determine if that item is in good enough condition for you to buy, you can ask for more pictures. So, the people who are really knowledgeable about putting up shoes secondhand, they'll take pictures of the back sides, the underneath of the what is it called? Not is it the sole? The sole of the shoe, so that you can see how much wear the shoe has gotten, and especially you wanna see the heel to see because if someone who has used the shoe really pronates, the heel will be worn down in a weird way, and that's just not gonna be comfortable. But a lot of times you'll look at the shoes, the heels and the sole, and it'll look like it's barely been worn. And so you can decide, "Hey, yeah, I'd like to pay that amount for that shoe with that much wear." It's fantastic. But, underwear, tennis shoes, okay, yeah, we buy those new. But the vast majority of things we don't buy new. And so knowing that my daughter wanted this fox sweatshirt, I started looking on eBay. Secondhand, I was able to find a new with tags fox hood sweatshirt that I think she will really like. So again, going back to this philosophy of something you want, something you need, something to wear, something to read. So that's her something to wear. Something to read. My kiddo's really into graphic novels, and I saw this really cool graphic novel that I read about that I think she would like, and so I found that also secondhand on eBay. And something she wants is she actually asked me, she said that there's a book that she's interested in that has teased another book that's gonna be coming out. So I guess this book she's had for a year or 2, and it says, "Coming in 2024, blah, blah, blah book." She's like, "Hey, mom, I want that book." So I'm gonna get her that book. I'm gonna see if I can get it secondhand because, most of 2024 is over, but I might have to buy that new. So I'm going to buy that for her. And so then thing that she the 4th gift is gonna be something she needs, and that's probably gonna be something like bras or, something like that. So I really like the want, need, wear, read because 4 gifts feels substantial enough to scratch any sort of itch, at least my family might have around, you know, the tradition of opening gifts. But it also doesn't feel wasteful. And for my husband and myself, if there's nothing that we, quote unquote, want or need, wear or read, I mean, read, I am constantly reading books. So I actually never buy myself anything for that read component for Christmas because I'm always getting books and mostly from the library. But I do, if I really love a book, I will buy a book. But my husband and I will just say, hey, why don't we go do that thing that we wanted to do as a Christmas gift to ourselves. Whether it's going to a restaurant that we haven't made time to go to, or there's actually this historical building that has swing dancing nights where it's a meal and a night of swing dancing. And I had said to him that I would like to do that as a Christmas gift to us. And then the other thing too is that there might be events that come up around the holiday season that you want to take part of that you can remind your family, hey, family, we're spending all this money to do this thing, whatever it is. For my family, we like to do this historical dance. And so we're going to the historical dance and we also spent some money getting some clothing for the historical dance. So that's part of our family's holiday gift expenditures. But there could also be events like there's some really cool light display events that happen in my area at some of the botanical gardens, as well as at the zoo. You might want to maybe take the family to go see a show. The Nutcracker is always a seasonal favorite, but there are lots of other shows that are happening all the time that, getting tickets to those can be considered a holiday gift. You could also get people tickets to things happening in 2025, and that's a lovely thing to, put in the stocking or give at Hanukkah or put under the tree. You can still wrap it even if it's a ticket. Just print it out on your computer and you can put it in a big box if you want and make it fun like that. So start thinking about your holiday planning now, your gift giving now, and it just makes it less stressful. I already have one of the gifts for my kiddo. The other one is en route. We've already purchased all the things that we're getting for the historical dance that's coming up. And I told my husband I want to do this jazz thing, this swing dance thing. So really a lot of our gift giving is already kind of in process, thinking about it in the back of the head. And then we also kind of have our favorite go-to items for filling out like Christmas gifts. Like if there isn't something that we actively need, then we can always buy a pair of Bomba socks. I don't know about you, but I love Bomba's hiking socks. And my husband got me a pair because, it was last year, it was something I need. I can always use a pair of hiking socks because I go through them. And he got me a pair of the hiking socks, and the Bombas hiking socks, I don't know what they weave into their hiking socks, but I have never felt more cushiony on my hike than when I wear those socks. They are magic. And so that's just one of our favorite things are the Bomba socks. And also I have a pair of Bomba slippers that are a few years old that are starting to get a hole in them. So there's always that favorite brand that you have in your family. It could be lip balm, it could be underwear, it could be socks, whatever that you can round out your gift giving with. So in our family, Bomba socks tends to be the thing that we round out because we really like them. So if you haven't checked those out, check them out. You might like them too. I've never felt a sock that actually feels different, and this sock feels different. Like, their compression socks are no joke. You have to, like, squeeze your thumbs in there to, like, get them up. We always fly with compression socks because of the whole COVID thing and how it increases your chance for a blood clot, and so even though my husband and I are only 50, we always fly with compression socks, and the Bombas compression socks are the best. So that beloved brand is something that we can always round out our gift giving with. So we probably all have those brands. For my husband, it's Untuck It, that you can round out if you wanna, if your want, need, wear, read, if you're not inspired to get them something specific, then you can always go back to your favorite brand because, hey, the best gifts are the ones that are received with, excitement. And I always know that if we give a pair of Bomba socks or an Untuck It shirt, someone in our family is gonna be happy. So that is it for this week's podcast and videocast. I hope the audio was good. As I mentioned, there was some work happening here at my house, but hopefully it worked out well. And doing a little bit of planning now is going to set you up for success as the holidays start to roll on. And by the way, if you didn't take part in holiday, the holiday planning, we wrote this book called Rock Your Holidays: 3 Simple Steps to Having Fun While Getting Things Done. This is a comprehensive workbook. It'll take you about 45 minutes to go through it, and you will have a holiday plan. So we did the workshop back in October. You can do it at your own pace by getting this book, it's actually a workbook. So as you learn, you're going to actually do it. You can also, if you prefer to learn by video, if you go to bywdreams.com, at the very top, if you click on, at the very top, it says, "Are you ready for more fun and less stress this holiday season? Go here." We have a recorded 1-hour workshop that costs $11. So you can get that. Hold on, I can pop up the URL for that here. It is bywdreams.mailerpage.com/rockyourholidays. But again, as I mentioned, if you just go to bywdreams.com, and it's right at the very top. Rock Are you ready for more fun and less stress this holiday season? Go here. Just click on that, and you will go to the page where you can buy the $11 video class. So if you want to follow along on video, it's only $11. You can get that at bywdreams.mailerpage.com/rockyourholidays. Also, if you are interested in 2025 in really harnessing the power of planning, the wait list for our Harness the Power of Planning course is open, and you can find that at bywdreams.com/bywdreams.mailerpage.com/HPOP. That stands for Harness the Power of Planning. So mostly the same URL as the last one, except instead of Rock Your Holidays, it is HPOP. And you can sign up for our free waitlist there. We have not picked a day yet for the Harness the Power of Planning workshop, but it is a 2-day workshop. It costs $37, 2 days, 45 minutes each day, $37. If you go to that page, the bywdreams.mailerpage.com/hpop, you will see exactly how HPOP is laid out. And so if you want to sign up for the wait list, it's totally free, but something to think about for 2025 if you're ready to, level up with your productivity, level up with your life design, level up with prioritizing yourself and your goals. Harness the Power of Planning. The course is the way to do it. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you next week. And as always, dream wild, wild dreamers. Thanks for joining us for the Harness the Power of Planning podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen.